This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Brewing with hops high in Cohumulone, making a liquid transfer jumper line, and repairing loose keg tops and bottoms. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 400. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show. It's been the show for like 9 years, 9 months, and 400 episodes where we provide the answers to your homebrewing questions and sometimes discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friends, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could email me, joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. You could text me, 325-305-6107, or you can call it in because I'm desperate for voicemails to the same hotline, 325-305-6107. When I use your voicemail on a future episode of this show, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Joining me as always, well, first off, I'm one of your co-hosts, Joshua Stubing. Down there, Mr. James Carlson, director of operations at cmbecker.com, and then the president and chief keg washer of Keg Connection right over there, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, episode 400. It is very exciting that we've made. I didn't do the math. I think 10 years will be in February. So
when is episode 400?
This is it. This is episode 400. Wow. I didn't do any gimmicks. Gimmicks
we didn't really do anything.
I know. Well, prior proper planning prevents piss poor podcasting. And I left town there. Well, my first idea a while ago was like, oh, we could record from the pool and all that. Your wife especially has been getting y'all's property ready for your father's 90th birthday party coming up.
And we don't need a whole long excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with.
I've
heard that before. It's okay.
So hold on. I thought of other gimmicks and stuff, and I go, you know what? Like the craft beer roulette one, I thought, that should be a standalone video, and we really do need standalone content for the channel, not just the podcast and stuff like that. Actually, some of our feedback today mentioned some other content. I think some other questions did too. So 400, we did a special thing for like episode 50 and 100 and all that. No, I'm not shaving. I'm already bald. Can't shave it there. I'm not going to shave my beard. My wife likes it. Not doing craft beer roulette. This is a milestone for us, but we're so cool. It's just like another day. That's how I remember growing up in sports, being taught that by coaches. Like when like in soccer, you score the goal, don't over celebrate. Act like you've been here before. And we're like, but coach, we're terrible. We've never been here before. That's why we're celebrating. But anyway, I do have some relevant small talk besides just getting into our favorite moments over 400 episodes is a lot of episodes. Me and Todd have been on it on all of them. And James has been on them for 351, I believe. Actually, you've been on 2 before you were a staple of the show. So you've been on every episode as well, besides like 40 something of them, James. So it's been a long time coming. Like I said, I believe our 10-year anniversary is coming up in February. Maybe, Todd, we do something special for the 10 years of podcasting. But anyway, before I do the recap on 400 episodes, I think did I put a thing up here for it? No. I could talk about this first. We have 20% off JockeyBox kits right now. Todd has put in so much effort on our website. I'll let you talk about the blog in a little bit, but first, these JockeyBox kits, when he gets on a kick of something, he drags us all with him. So we've put a lot of work into these new kits. Todd, I'll let you explain it. Go ahead. Besides the fact that they're 20% off right now.
Yeah, so jockey boxes have always been fairly popular, but one of the things is that they've been a little complicated to build sometimes. And I should mention also that I have a cold, so if I sound terrible,
another reason we're not doing anything big. Another reason, it's your fault. Yeah. But
so what I did was I came up with a new way to make jockey boxes quite a while back, actually, and we did a video showing how to make the jockey box. We did on our new blog on Keg Connections. One of the reasons that we redesigned the site Keg Connection was because we wanted to add a blog, and the blog is going to have a lot more content. Trying to put content on every week. There's been a lot of pressure for me just to use Chat
GPT, yes.
GPT,
yes.
and these kinds of things. But no, I'm writing these articles
he really is
old way.
It's so goofy.
And it's a lot of information, a lot of links. Of course, the video is one of the links, but there's a lot of other links. So, check it out, because if you ever want to build a jockey box or you're just interested in it, the article's only, I think, maybe 3 pages long, and there's a lot of information there that should make it much easier to build a jockey box. And then in conjunction with that, we've come out with these kits that are complete kits, everything you need. Because one of the biggest issues that we found people have when they're building one is they don't understand what components they need, and they spend a lot of time and energy looking for components. So we basically made it so you don't have to do any of that. So yeah, check it out. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, but you are way more succinct than I ever am. I just try to throw everything to you. Hey, Todd, explain this, do that. You're very right to the point. I like it. I was about to drag it out and be like, the blog and this and that, but Todd, I was giving him grief before because he is so technologically adverse, as in like, hey, Todd, we can use ChatGPT to like make a foundation. ChatGPT doesn't know it like I know it. Like you're very boomer in your.
No, and to be fair, I shouldn't say we didn't use it at all. Some of the articles, they actually wrote them. I don't even know if it's I don't know what program
it is. ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm. But so a couple of the articles, they sent it to me already written, the people that help us a lot. And I was like, okay, that's a good start. But I found that I basically rewrote 90% of it. So it wasn't really that good of a start.
AI is becoming impressive, but I will say I use Midjourney and ChatGPT for visual creation or generation. And Midjourney looks more realistic, but neither one understands homebrewing like at all. Like I challenge someone, unless you're using maybe a photo reference, but even then it's a lot of work just inherently natively to Midjourney and ChatGPT. Go tell it, hey, make me a picture of someone working on a corny keg or just a pack of corny kegs or homebrewing stuff. It has no idea. It just Sankey kegs is all it knows how to generate. And so I guess, we have some job security for now. I always said,
That's good.
Yeah, I always said if ChatGPT gets a sense of humor or anything or wit, I'm screwed. And it looks like that's right around the corner. So this podcast, we had a good run, 400 episodes until we got replaced with ChatGPT. Anyway, so yeah, I started off with that. Todd hit the two things I wanted to talk about. There is a new blog at kegconnection.com. It's right at the top, blog, and it's going to be a lot more technical stuff than what we would normally have on Homebrew Happy Hour. So, and like for especially specific to the things that Keg Connection is promoting and selling. So you can still, Homebrew Happy Hour still should be your one-stop shop for information, but the blogs that Todd is specifically writing will all be housed at kegconnection.com. So go check it out. And no promo code needed on those JockeyBots kits. Just go to the category, the beautifully redesigned category, if I do say so myself. And like Todd said, we did relaunch the website with the new design. So new. We normally, this kind of stuff's normally like New Year resolution stuff. No, we're doing it in September. Why? Because we have the time. September's so slow. But anyway, so other small talk I've got going on. I said new blog, JockeyBots, the Trub Club. Ooh, this month. We mentioned it last week, but let's do it again. If you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and join a recipe receiving tier of the Trub Club, you're gonna get this delicious dark German lager Schwarzbier. We haven't brewed a Schwarzbier in a long time, and I think the last person to brew it may have been James. And I want to say it was like pre-COVID. Or do you remember when you brewed that Schwarzbier?
Dude, it's been so long ago. No clue.
I feel like it was before COVID. Like I'm bad with time, but I feel like it's been a while. You've been brewing tons of lagers, Pilsner specifically lately. I assume hopefully I can get you I could twist your arm a little to brew this one. We did. Yeah. I do want to mention, or follow up with y'all. I guess this is not necessarily, it is relevant small talk. We had our walk-in fail, but then the AC guys came and they seem to have fixed it. Is it cold up there again? Has anyone checked?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So I can get the yeast ordered and we can have we could have always stored the yeast, I guess, in the brew room fridge. Worst case scenario, right? That's what I could have done if I had to, but and that's a good question that I just thought in my head. Now I have to verbalize it so everyone else knows it's a good question. What yeast would you think, James, we're going to use for a Schwarzbier? Would it be Harvest, or is there a better one you think from Imperial? I'm throwing you Johnny on the spot, but it'd
probably be Harvest,
right?
If you have you can either pressure ferment or if you got temperature control. I don't know. I've never used Harvest at room temperature. For the people out there that get the kits that are going to have to ferment at room temperature because they're not set up to do lagers. Not sure how that works. Need to try that out. See, I have done it in the past, and it produced a good beer. Just a little light estery because of the warmer fermentation, but not enough to make it a bad beer.
That's what I'm hoping. My pop and I, when we brew it, it's going to be under pressure. It's going to be at room temp. I'll let you know how it turns out. We have had extremely good luck this entire year with kits. Todd, I don't know if you've even tapped into the two I brought up there. You've been sick, so I don't think you've been drinking much.
I'm saving them for the party.
Well, the ESB is the only one I'm worried. It's not nearly as good as how I remember y'all's ESB turning out on that Cooler Brew day that we did, and we did the video on. That's still like the fish is probably this big. That's my one of my favorite beers of all time.
So I probably need to hold off on claiming credit for that until we taste
absolutely. But you're gonna like the grapefruit pale ale. Turned out exactly how it.
I already had that one, right?
No, I brought both of those with me when I was just up there.
I already had a keg of that. Maybe it was something similar.
It was the Sierra Nevada clone. That's
what it was.
Yep.
That's what it was.
And that one turned out great too. You were not upset. Your criticism was it's not hoppy enough. And I said, okay, your mama. And then we'd stop talking about it. But the grapefruit one, the only thing we didn't do that you normally, or that you've done before, we did not add grapefruit. Was it juice or rind? I forget how you made it that one time.
I had rind. So it was, but basically I dried it out and then shaved it and then dried it out and then put it in.
Yeah, we didn't do that, but it still tastes. I mean, the Mosaic and is it Citra? I think is part of that kit. they produce a pretty convincing grapefruit taste. So, like I said, if you want we're not talking about grapefruit, we're talking about Schwartz beer. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. I promise you will not be disappointed. And like we did mention last week too, if you're in the Trub Club already at one of those tiers and you're like, Josh, I really don't want to do a pressure fermentation, or I'm not willing to do all that. Give me an ale. We'll work with you. We always work with you guys. So, but since I've published it, gotten a lot of private messages. People are excited. And I do think offering lagers in the future is something our Trub Club wants right now. So I'm a man of the people. If they want it, you got it. And that's what I didn't watch the debate last night. I couldn't care less, but I would have said that if they're like, what is your number one priority if you get into office? It's whatever you feel on that way. I'm going to get you lagers. I'm going to get you ales. I'm going to do whatever you want. And then boom, I'd win by a landslide. Like I said before, I do have.
And then it would all be about Josh.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, when I am king. Oh my God. I'm ask my kids, my house, I am a fascist dictator. There is no democracy. They're like, oh, let's vote for dinner. Vote for dinner. Get a job, kid. Are you kidding me? Vote for dinner.
It's gonna hurt bowing backwards. It's gonna hurt my back. You're gonna make me bow backwards.
Absolutely, dude. Oh, I feel like you're actually. This is sort of related. I'm still stuffed from all the food Liz and you collectively fed me. I think y'all are trying to get me diabetic again, or my blood pressure over. I was thinking.
No, my main goal is I just want fat Josh back. I just like that guy a lot.
James, Liz made me. So first off, we had chalupas when I was up there Monday night, and how many did she make total? 12. And
it was a lot.
Let's say it was 12.
Yeah.
I had 6 or 7 of them because Josh does it for you. You can't say no to Liz.
Yeah, she had 1. I had 2, and then
I had 9. I guess
you gave me a third. Like you were like, "Come on, have
that's
a third
right.
one," and
that's
I ate
right.
a third one.
Yeah. So then Tuesday morning, I accidentally slept in, and Todd wakes me up and goes, "Hey, breakfast is ready." Okay, so I run over there, and Liz hands him 2 tacos, and she hands me 6 breakfast tacos. Like I don't know, cool, but I don't know if I should be flattered that she thinks that I can handle that, or again concerned that they are trying to kill me. But that's way off topic. I digressed.
I think you beat the record on the longest intro, man.
Not even. It's barely 17 minutes. I've gone 24 minutes. That's the longest. Okay. I got 7 more minutes. We'll get back into.
Let's go on.
Oh my God! You know what? Screw both of you. This is my. No, okay. So going into the show,
400. We're not going to take you over 20 minutes because we love you guys.
A deal. Okay, then I'm not even going to do recap of 400 because we'll get right into the show. We do before I get into the question.
It's time for listener feedback.
It's feedback and it's a question. It's our buddy Alan from Virginia. He emailed me and he wrote, "To longtime fan of Homebrew Happy Hour, I also started watching your brew days with your dad. I can't watch them live because I'm at work." I'm at work too, Alan. But I do put them on when I'm brewing on the weekends. I think it's awesome that you guys can do that together. I don't use YouTube a ton, but it would be great if you had more brewing content or did live stuff on the weekends too. Maybe a Trub Club group brew day. He spelled it that way. I'm not pronouncing it that way. Maybe a Trub Club group brew day. I know I would participate. I did join the club for the recipe kits, and I do also have a question. When you send out your recipe kits, the same ones that you are brewing on YouTube, are those intended for 5 gallons in the fermenter, or are they intended to yield 5 gallons after fermentation? Let me touch on the top part of the feedback part. Alan, thank you so much for submitting that. Like I had said 29 minutes ago, however long we're doing this intro for, we are going to start trying to do more standalones on the channel of YouTube, because I realize the vast majority of y'all consume this show via audio only, and I get it. Long form stuff, anything over 20 minutes on YouTube, it's hard to keep my attention. I'm kind of ADD, so I get that. We're going to try to do more. Like I said, the craft beer roulette, Todd's videos on product showcases, like I said, that the JockeyBots video is on our channel right now. Todd also did a how to disassemble GovReds recently. That's a super niche one.
Well, not just how to disassemble, but how to the whole article, the whole blog
I'm talking about the video. I'm not talking about the
is on
blog.
troubleshooting, and the
I'm not talking about that.
talks about not just disassembling them, but also how to fix them by boiling them and
Right.
everything else.
By disassembling.
Replacing
them.
the lube on the O-rings.
Right.
Doing all those types
Right.
of things.
Super niche, though, is what I'm saying. We're trying to do, we'll be doing more general content, too. That's not just super niche to product showcases and all that. But I would say, even though it is super niche, the Jaunty Bots one is totally worth consuming. And I think it's right at 17 minutes. So it's not so long that you feel like you got to give up an hour time slot for it, but it's also short enough. It's jam-packed with info. But my main point being, yes, we are trying to do more content. Now, James, I'm going to throw it to you because you and Lorena are the two authors of 99% of recipes we use for Trub Club and on the website. When you were making those recipes, was your intent 5 gallons into the fermenter or 5 gallons of beer going into a keg?
Well, we kind of shoot for 5 batch size, so that would be 5 gallons into the fermenter. So, I mean, in the keg. So you have to adjust your brewing software. And this is for people that are doing not doing extract, doing all grain. So you can do, like on Brewer's Friend, you can have pre and post. So you just make your tweaks accordingly if you want to get 5 gallons out. Sometimes you can't get the gravity where it needs to be. So that's going to always fluctuate a little bit. So that's why it's important to change your efficiency on what your system's doing. The brew house efficiency, what it's creating versus what the recipe says it'll do. And it's just real simple. There's not a lot to it.
I was going to, you took the words from me. When my dad and I do it, we just plug in what we're wanting to yield in either Brewer's Friend or we do Brewer's Friend, and we also are redundant with Grainfather because its own app is what's guiding the brew day. And we tell it, hey, into the fermenter, we want 11 gallons, right? And so it does the calculations. And if, like Todd can relate with his Brewer's Friend because he doesn't actually follow recipes per se. He goes in there to say, I'm going to get 17 point whatever, or I forget the number, Todd, you can correct me. And it will say this, okay, then it adjusts all of your fermentables or whatever to
17.5.
17.5, right. Where when we're sending out recipe kits for the 15 gallon tier, that is basically to yield 15 from your batch. And Todd, 17.9, I guess is what you figured it would take after boil, after fermentation for you to actually get 3 5-gallon kegs.
17.5.
17.5, not 17.9. 17.5 is what it takes for you to actually get 3 full corny kegs of beer.
Yeah, I think I've got my system at 18 gallons.
No kidding.
But I leave quite a bit in the bottom, before, when I'm racking off into the fermenter. So everybody's a little different, but it seems to work all right. But Todd has lately been on point on all of his beer batches. It's impressive.
Well, and
because you can literally taste him getting better as a brewer. I mean, his beer is top notch. It's amazing.
Josh isn't comfortable with this.
If you ever brewed again, I mean, when's the last time you brewed?
He only likes criticism. So he's not comfortable with
not
this.
The homebrew compliment hour. It's the homebrew deprecation hour. No, I agree with James.
Thank you, though, James.
But James, he's not wrong. You just, I don't like complimenting you when you're here. James and I talk good about you when you're not here. That's fine. You're here. Your head's getting bigger on camera.
Well, you can taste the attention to detail that that I sometimes don't do compared to him. I mean, so checking the temperature, checking the gravity, he's perfected his process, and it's impressive to taste. I really believe that.
I agree.
It's cool to see.
And wrapping it into the show with our listeners too, it is encouraging as a brewer to know that consistency pays off in regards to routine and procedure, right? Like you get yourself in a good procedure of good hygiene with in regards to sanitation and all that, checking temperatures to make sure it was there.
Key.
Exactly. Everything. Todd, now correct me if I'm wrong, because you do 3. So I'm so stuck. Maybe it's I'm in the spectrum. 17.5 and 3 kegs full, but that's actually more than 15. Because isn't a corny keg like 5 and some change on average?
Yeah, they vary a little bit depending on the brand and everything, but they're a little over 5. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, like I said, like James said too, and like we've said on the show a ton.
I mean, you lose a lot. You lose.
You do.
You lose it in your when you're doing the boil and you transfer it from the boil, you lose a pretty good amount there. A lot of it's all the sludge on the bottom. And then you do the same thing when you take it from your fermenter. I can't speak, fermenter.
I like it.
But,
yeah. Are
anyway.
you on cold medicine right now too? Because that would make the show a lot better.
Oh no, I should have.
You
Yeah,
we should. That's how we could have started the episode. All of us a shot of cold medicine, the kind that you have to show your ID for, the good stuff.
I found that as it sets in the getting conditioned and cold, that it ends up you lose quite a bit. I'm not really sure why.
Oh yeah, I definitely lose quite a bit from that part too. Oh, you mean when you have to test it to see how clear it is every day?
Well, you got to test it. I mean, at least 12 ounces a day.
At least 12 ounces a day. James did pour me some of his Pilsner, so that was, I guess, 24 ounces because you had one and I had one. Yeah, we have to test.
Yeah,
which, by the way,
sample the progress.
Did Todd bring you the filter stuff?
He fully intends on tomorrow.
I set an alarm today.
Good. Well, you didn't ask me to remind you, so I wasn't on the hook for it.
You
Todd.
never did show up, by the way. You said you were coming by.
I didn't have to. My dad has kegs.
He does.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll get replacement ones from you next time I come. You're going. I also, they're doing so much construction on that side of
I'm real
Goldthwaite.
familiar with it.
So I was like, you know what? Is it worth going to get 2 kegs to replace for Todd for this batch, or I'll just get them next time I come up there because I'm gonna have to sit an hour in construction traffic. It's so goofy, all the construction they're doing. I guess I could say that about anywhere in Texas right now. But Alan, thank you so much for submitting that feedback and a question, and thank you for joining the Chub Club. A reminder, my friends, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier like Alan did. And this month, again, you're going to get the dark German lager Schwarzbier. I forgot to mention, Brew Day Live of this dark German lager Schwarzbier is going to be Friday, September 27th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Central. Join the fun at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. And that is our intro, small talk feedback, and listener feedback portion of the show. Going into our actual episode with 3 questions. We've got a voicemail.
Oh, damn, we missed 20 minutes, didn't we?
No. That was a question and stuff. I was just kind of wrapping up the intro part. Yeah. So our first question.
Sorry, everyone.
It's a voicemail from our buddy Dave from New Jersey.
Hey, Josh and the gang. I got a question. I always see a statement online saying not to use hops that are too high in cohumulones for bittering additions because the bitterness is unpleasant. But I cannot find a source that tells me what percentage of the acids that are cohumulones are too high. Any feedback would be great. This is Dave from New Jersey. Love listening to the show and the great customer support. Thanks.
Dave, I don't think I've ever taken one of his questions, so I always like getting voicemails from new people. I also had to take it because I've never heard the word cohumulone in my life. I've been in this industry for 16 and a half, whatever plus years. I've been brewing with my dad since 2017, been watching Todd brew for almost the entire time I've been in the industry. And James, I've never heard this word. I had to look it up. Let me say this before I throw it to you. A cohumulone is a chemical compound found in hops that contributes to the bitterness of beer. It's one of the 5 alpha acids in hops, along with adhumulone, humulone, prehumulone, and posthumulone. The amount of cohumulone in hops can range from 20% to 50% of the total alpha acid, and the higher the level, the more bitter the beer will be. I've never seen it broken down.
Answered. Question answered.
Have you ever seen it broken down, though, from hops that are bad in regards to the 5 percentages?
Well, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Do I brew in high alpha acid hops?
Okay. Good point. No, you're right.
No, I do not.
That is
But the big 3 in alpha acids is humulone, adhumulone, and then cohumulone. The first 2 are pleasant. The third one, the co, is unpleasant. So if you get a high percentage of that, unless you're a bitterness freak, then you probably want to back that off. But most of the hop manufacturers, when you go online, they'll give you the details of each hop. So it probably wouldn't hurt to go on to like
Hops Direct
Hops Direct, and go in and ask them or call them. They'll tell you, or maybe they when we go to trade shows, I always, if I can find a hop book, they usually have them setting out. They're free to give away. They have all that in there. So there's a lot of information online, specifically the manufacturer of the hops that will give you that kind of information. If they don't have it online, you can call them. They'll probably have it.
Todd, you are, of the three of us, the only one I know that is no stranger to high alpha acids types of beers. Do you care about why it's high? Like, do you care about the breakdown of it's 13% and that's because the Cohumulone? I don't want that.
I had never heard of it before.
Okay,
I had to actually look it up. This morning. So, Brewlosophy, we've mentioned him before on the podcast.
Yeah, good group of guys.
He actually probably did the most comprehensive taste test of this that I was able to find online. It's a really good article, and I would highly recommend reading it. I think, a lot of people, from what I was studying, there was a test done like in the 60s or 70s, actually, I think it was, where the guy pointed this out, but a lot of people now feel like it was a myth and that it doesn't really make a big difference, that people can't perceive the difference. And that it seemed like that's pretty much what they found when they did the blind taste test. So I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of it. I've used some of the hops that are on the list. I was able to find a list that had a lot, and I've used a lot of the hops on there, and I like the hops. I mean,
send me the article so I can link it in the show notes, please.
Okay, I will.
But you're saying the premise of the article is taste testing beers that are specifically high in Cohumulone versus, the hops that are high in it versus beers.
Yeah,
that
he
aren't.
did two very hoppy beers, but one of them had a hop with
Cohumulone. Yeah, communion. Yes, a Catholic hops.
Maybe I could say that if I didn't have a cold, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I don't know what to think, because there hasn't, besides his test and that other test earlier, there hasn't been a lot of research on it. So
you're the only.
Well, I had also read that high pH levels can also cause excessive harsh bitterness as well. So sometimes maybe it's attributed more to pH than it is the hops themselves.
I guess my ultimate kind of overbearing question to Dave's question for you, James, is just the number on the bag is enough to determine bitterness that's going to be the end result bitterness you're going to get, right?
It's not going to break them down in individual parts, but it's going to at least give you an idea, because from what I read, there's anywhere from 15 to 50% of Cohumulone in certain types of hops. But until I wouldn't be able to answer that question without knowing which hop he's using, how much he's using, when he's using it, and then who's making the hops, because each year, each crop varies on those levels.
Yeah. And so I guess for him to answer his question too, you're saying get a hop book or reach out directly. I do know the Pewter Balls and the people who run their socials and our program or whatever, really good guys. They're very responsive, and they love getting they love customer feedback and questions, and they're very, very responsive. So that's what I would do, Dave.
And you know what? I used to order from them long time ago on Big Bertha, and I would order, it was cool because I'd go in there and you could order a pound at a time. And at that time, I want to say you could get a pound of Cascade hops for about $10.
Whoa.
So much cheaper going that way directly.
Whoa.
And I thought that was cool.
What year was that?
That was in 2010.
What is a pound of Cascade now? It's
For
a lot.
years, that's all we used. We thought that was the only hop to have. But then, as I got better at brewing, I realized there was a whole different level of hop. You could do anything you want to with beer, but we were kind of like robots. We were just doing the same thing all the time. And hops are an amazing plant. They can really change the whole flavor of the beer. It's an amazing addition to brew.
If it wasn't for Trub Club and Brew Day Live, James, I would also be a robot still. Just Hallertau Mittelfru, Kolsch, Hallertau Mittelfru, Kolsch. And I don't think
it was fun, though. We enjoyed learning as we messed up.
And I don't think I've ever seen a bag of middle fruit over maybe 5% is on the high end for alpha acids. It might, most of the time it's like 3.4 or 4. One Chub Club recipe last year or 2020 or 2 years. It was 2022, I think. And I forget which one it was, but I accidentally swapped on the hop schedule. It was like one was a very low alpha acid, which was supposed to be an addition into the boil, and the other was the higher one that was supposed to be the 60-minute. But I accidentally switched them on the hop schedule printed, which people followed the instructions because they trust us, and got interesting feedback on that one. We're like, whoa, I don't think this is how it's supposed to be. I was like, son of a gun. Yeah, no, that's totally. No, I owned up to it. The people who reached out to me got them new kits. But anyways, Dave, this is a great question to solicit feedback, my friends. If you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, let us know in the comments below about Cohumulones, Romulans, all the Star Trek characters. And we would love your feedback. And if you think you have a great voicemail feedback to get yourself a $25 gift card, call it in to 325-305-6107. Preferably a question like Dave's, getting low on them, perpetually low on them. So it's likely I'll use it on a future episode. Moving on, our second question of the day, it is, I can't move on yet. Hold on. Moving on, our second question of the day is an email from our buddy Jorge from Austin. And he wrote, "Hey gang, Jorge from your neck of the woods. I'm down here in Austin, been brewing for a few years. I was one of the many who picked up brewing during COVID. What a shame that as soon as I started brewing, I lost the closest supply shop to me." He's, of course, referencing Austin Homebrew Supply. Pour one out for the homies. I started kegging this summer, and I first need to thank Todd for all the help you provided me over the phone. I was able to build a great keezer with room to grow. Also, because of the podcast, I am pressure fermenting now in kegs. I have a question about transferring from fermentation keg to a serving keg. Right now, I'm using large diameter gas hose for my transfer line. My only concern is that I can't see the beer as it's transferring. The obvious is to change that out. Should I continue using larger hose for my transfer, or should I use 3/16 hose like I have in my teaser? Before I buy new clear hose, I want to buy the best size for the job. Let me know what you think. If you use my question, I will use Todd's money for new hose. Cheers, gang. Jorge. Do you remember helping Jorge out? You help so many people out. I can't expect you to remember specific customers.
Of course I remember. Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. You do. Kidding aside, guys, Todd and James, when I'm up there at headquarters, I try to answer the phone. James is always the quickest on the draw. I like that. But y'all's day, any given day, y'all are doing customization support on an order where someone's like picking your brain about, hey, I'm trying to do this, and y'all spend some days a lot of time doing customization. So I'm not surprised to get this feedback about it, Todd. But since he did mention you, I'll throw it to you first. We have jumper lines on the website. They use 5/16 clear tubing. When James built me my first jumper line for HomebrewCon, because I had to quickly transfer this from one keg to another. You made it, James, with clear 5/16. I just always assumed that was the standard, but I never really thought, Todd, about restriction and if it matters, if you want any restriction between the transfer, if you don't, and you want to go up even larger diameter. What are your thoughts on?
You said you were going to make a jumper line for me to show.
Did I say that? I did say that. That's right. Wow.
Is it not here? Okay.
I don't think they're pre-made. I could run in my garage and get one.
No, it's all right. So all it is, it depends on what you're doing. But if you're doing homebrewed beer, it's a disconnect with hose in the middle and a couple of clamps. It's super simple. And you have those listed. You'll put a link on there.
Yep. They're in the show notes.
The size of the hose, I usually either use 1/4 inch or 5/16. I don't use 3/16 because I want it to transfer faster. Because it's closed, it does not matter. You don't need restriction. I usually make the choice between 1/4 and 5/16 based on what hose I have at my house and it's hanging on the wall.
Well, yeah, that's a good problem to have. But you're right. Like, I guess at the end of the day, you just 3/16, no, don't do it. 5/16 or above, yeah, go for it.
Our 1/4 is below, but yeah.
1/4 is below 5/16. Okay. What is 3/8 is larger, and then half, obviously.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 3/4 larger than that.
Do we have 3/4 hose?
No, it was just, that was just a joke.
Okay, I was gonna say, wait, and then 1
It
inch
was a
hose.
measurement. It was a measurement joke.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not getting 1-star reviews on our 400th episode. You understand me? Although I was going to say, see, honey, hose size doesn't matter. Anyway, but it does matter. The little puny 3/16 tubing. Get out of here from my transfer line. Now now I understand his concern with wanting to see it go through, especially on a transfer, James, because if you're not using a clear vessel that you're fermenting in, and you're transferring, or he's going from keg to keg anyways,
Right.
You're not going to see necessarily when, if you're using a floating dip tube, I'm assuming he is, it's getting trub. And if you don't have cleared line, you're not going to see when it's going in, and you're just going to fill up the keg all willy-nilly, potentially bringing in stuff you don't want. Do you think that it's worth it to get the clear as opposed to the red or the blue of tubing?
I don't do a lot of keg to keg transfers, but I definitely would like to see what's going through, especially if you think that, like, let's say, for instance, you have a O-ring that's bad, or let's just say there's something on there that can pull in air. You can see that as it's running through the tube. So, it is possible that you could possibly oxidize it if it's bringing it in from the outside air. If it's just CO2, I guess that'd be pretty hard to tell, but I'd like to see how it's flowing through. I know when I transfer from the conical it's already carbonated, and then I'm going through a filter, it's all bubbly. So it's hard to tell whether that's just CO2 breaking out as it's moving through the filter or if it's pulling in air. I had one filter that had the red button on the top, which is a purge, and it was one of the first ones I got, and it was literally sucking air in as it was moving the beer into the keg and oxidizing it. I could tell that because I could pull up on the red button and the bubbles would stop. And that was before I was carbonating in a closed fermenter, a pressure fermenter. And so if you go to get a filter, I would suggest you get one without the red button on the top. You just want it completely sealed off.
I view it as like a sight glass, right? I mean, that's the transfer line.
Yeah.
The jumper line.
Yeah. And you mentioned a floating dip tube, but I find a lot of times when I'm transferring, if you let your keg sit a long time and they're really cold, then everything settles down, and then you can pour a beer and you get a bunch of crap in the glass. But then when you pour the next one, you don't. I mean, it's like it's clear now. But if you're going to go take that keg to an event or a party or something, what you'll find is you get to that party and it's totally cloudy beer again. The reason for that is because you've got all that stuff that's settled down, and then you're sucking off the dip tube off the bottom, and it has a little hole a lot of times and you're basically cleaning that out, and the rest of the stuff just doesn't fall down. So if you do a transfer to transfer, you can get very, very clean beer in the second keg, and then when you move it around, you don't cloud it all up. So it works really well for that.
Side note, for viewers at home and listeners, I want to tell you, in the 42nd minute-ish of this podcast, I had self-control and did not turn into a 7th grade locker room when Todd said a certain line about certain things. Just want to put that out there. Now, here's a relevant side question for you, Mr. Burns, because I have drafted many a beers from your teaser. Your liquid lines in your teaser are all blue and not clear. Is it not as important for your serving lines to also be clear to you, or was that just what you had?
That's what I had. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't. They're very short lines that I'm serving from them. If there's crap going through those lines, it doesn't matter to me. I can see it when I put it in the glass.
That is a good point. They're very short lines because you're using actual flow control V10s, and so
and I don't know. I haven't been doing them that way recently. Now I tend to use a smaller line, like 1/4 inch. I don't use 3/16, but I use 1/4 inch to give it just a tiny bit of restriction before it gets in there. So I've never had any problems whatsoever in my Keyser, but we've had problems on long draw systems. So,
and now that I think about it, the pricing is basically the same. It might be literally the same.
It's exactly the same price.
Why don't I just use clear for everything? Because if there's backflow going towards my regulator, obviously the check valve is going to prevent it from actually going into the diaphragm and all that. I'd like to see that. Wouldn't clear hose for everything technically make the most sense? Or
well, the reason people use red hose for gas is just it's easy to recognize that that's a gas line,
visual. Yeah,
and this is a beer line. So it's traditionally people have always used usually red for gas, but you could certainly use clear. So the Bevlex,
yeah.
sorry, that we sell is the USA made with a dual durometer. The clear has a dual durometer just like the blue and the red does. The only difference is that the clear is clear on both halves, whereas the red is, or the blue is just clear on the outer half and clear on the inner half. So that's the only difference.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to probably make the effort to change all my lines, but as I'm thinking out loud, I was like, that might not be a bad idea. But like you said, though, having a visual cue of those are my gas lines and those are my liquid goes a long way when you want to quickly troubleshoot something or change something out or whatever. Which, you did tell me to remind you, change out the GovReg up at the pool. Make sure you do that. Don't put one of those beers at 35 because you had sparkling water up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have to change it out, Josh. You keep saying that.
Adjust it. Okay, sorry.
Adjust it.
But I only said change it out because you put, so you got to rip the label off and replace it?
Yeah, I have a label maker.
Okay. Yeah, the label makers. Okay. Anyways, wrapping up Jorge's question, it is a very affordable change and thing to make. And like Todd said, we do have it at kegconnection.com, actual pre-made jumper lines. If you're just needing the tubing though, yeah, just buy it. And if I do want to say though, he mentioned the closing of Austin Homebrew Supply, or that's who I assume he means. Go to SoCo, dude. SoCo off of South Congress, near the, they used to be next to Thirsty Planet, then they went out of business. And I think they're still by Weird Tea. Just look them up. SoCo Homebrew. Good people. And if you want local
Thirsty
stuff.
Planet's you mean the brewery's gone?
Yeah. You didn't remember that? I thought we talked about it on the show.
I swear I just saw it in the liquor store the other day.
They got their brewery, their location totally shut down. And it was a big deal. I want to say it was last year. It could have been early this year, but I want to say it was last year. Either way, SoCo in Austin is still alive and well, or I forget the name of the one in San Antonio.
I wonder if they're still distributing beer.
They might be. Remember Hops and Grain did that for a little bit when they shut down. Then, funny story, Josh Hare from Hops and Grain, the founder of it, he actually started a near beer brewery. How about that? Okay. Yeah, I think Ritz Near Beer is what Josh is up to now. But anyways, for Jorge, if you're looking for a local supply shop, yeah, that. But if you're needing dispensing and all that, I honestly don't know how much they do that. A lot of local shops nowadays, the ones that aren't closing, and I'm not saying that lightly, it's actually very depressing. You'll need to support your local shops more for your ingredients and all that, and get them to carry Muntins. Muntins.com. The dispensing stuff, there's never really been a lot of local shops is bread and butter, and sometimes they use us to fulfill their stuff, or they order all their stuff from Keg Connection. So if you're needing tubing and all that and you got to get it online, like from us, buy in bulk. That's one of the things I'll say. I don't think we mention it enough. Bulk stuff like tubing, clamps, all that is really good to have on hand for when you're rebuilding out lines or needing to create something, or you forget to clean your lines for a year and you want to replace them. Little things like that. You could just bulk store it. It's you can keep it in your garage. It stores forever, and it's cheap enough to order in bulk. So you could look into that. And if you're not in the Chub Club, you can use promo code HHH for 5% off your order at kegconnection.com. How about that? Wham, wham. Thank you, ma'am. And Jorge, thank you for that email. A final reminder, if you email me, joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com, and I use that question on a future episode, you get yourself a $15 gift card. That can buy you some good tubing and other things from the website, sure. Or, like our last question, you could call it into 325-305-6107, leave a voicemail, and get yourself a $25 gift card like our buddy Adam from Florida.
Hello, everybody. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just kidding. This is Adam down here in Florida. But you guys are the geniuses because you work on a lot of used kegs and refurbish them and so on and so forth. So I know you'll have the answer. I didn't have time to really search the archives because you probably may have answered this in the past. But I have a keg right now that has the black kind of plastic top and bottom on it. And the top is kind of pulling off. So I'm kind of careful now when it's full and I'm moving it around because it's like maybe like a quarter of the way it's pulled off. And I mean, there must be some kind of super adhesive that you can use to glue this sucker back onto the stainless steel. If you could share that with me, I'd really appreciate it because I just don't want this thing to break off at the worst time. Like today I was walking with it. I'm having to grab it from the bottom too because my dog is laying in the middle of the hallway and, I'd hate to see it fall and, hurt her. But, anyway, also wanted to say thanks to Josh. Texted him about a recipe and, he responds right away. I mean, the guy's great. I don't think you pay him enough, Todd. I think you really should, step that up. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Hope you can answer this. Adam in Florida. Thank you.
Did you hear the last part? Because I was worried when
I didn't hear.
I'm not even going to replay it.
I didn't hear it either. What did he say?
Oh, no, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, he said.
I heard it earlier.
Well, you took your headphones off. I was like, he's going to miss.
That's why I took my headphones off and left. I was trying to avoid the end.
That's so funny. You don't ever listen to the MP3s. I for sure thought. I don't know. Adam
You'd
is
be surprised how many he does listen to because I hear him from miles when he's playing them. Yeah, he does. I'd say he listens to most of them.
I'm just laughing because Todd has no First, I hear him when we're on Zoom calls. I hear his voice through your mic, dude, because of how boisterous he is. It's like, so yeah, anyways, on this next line item, and I'm hearing it from your mic. And yeah. And then you listen to the MP3, you use, I don't know, you have those really nice studio headphones and you're like the New Yorkers on the subway that just insist on using the Bluetooth speaker and everyone.
It's kind of hurt my ears right now. I don't feel good.
They do hurt my ear. I get cauliflower ear from my headphones more than I get it from wrestling now. It's insane.
Wow.
Anyway, to answer his question, Todd, is there a consumer leveled adhesive? I know the epoxy y'all use works really good, but I don't know if that's something that you can just go to a hardware store and get.
Hang on, let me ask you a question real quick. No usa esta ahora. Okay.
Homebrew Español. La hora de homebrew in Español.
Right. Yeah, so we used to use an epoxy, and I'll show you all that since we still have some here. We use this epoxy. It was very expensive, but it worked really, really well. We found something that works even better, and probably giving this to all my competitors too now, so they know how to fix their kegs. So that's okay though. I like all my competitors.
For our audio only listeners, he first called up one called Lord.
Master Seal NP1, and this is a polyurethane sealant. So polyurethane works. It's used a lot in building, like for roofs and stuff like that. But this stuff has been incredible. It's just this Master Seal NP1 has gotten it to the point where we could use this, and we haven't had any of them that we fixed come back off again that I know of.
And so now 99.9% of the kegs I've ever encountered through Keg Connection, through the warehouse, unloading them, have been rubber or they've been metal tops. He may have misspoke when he said plastic. Is that adhesive still good?
He means rubber.
He did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about a rubber keg.
No, all right. I know. He just said the plastic handle, and I think he was just using, quick vernacular. I'm just, what I was getting at is I wanted to cover my bases. If by off chance he had a plastic top or bottom, is that adhesive?
No, he just meant rubber.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too.
Plastic.
They do make a black plastic. To be fair, there is a black plastic handle that goes on kegs. But it's attached with two screws, and it's just on one side, kind of like the metal handle ones are. And you still see those. I still see them out there. But the way he was describing it, he definitely meant the rubber tops and bottoms.
Yeah, and it's a hard plastic, black plastic. So it's not like a black rubber.
Do you guys have a preference of the metal handle versus the rubber? Rubber are easier on the hands, but metal seems to just be forever.
Stack the rubber.
Oh, good point.
Stack the single handle. So.
That's the biggest pro. Period. You're right. Yeah, the metal ones are very limited in storage. Right. And Todd would probably
for what I do, the way I use them, it doesn't matter to me at all. I don't care.
Whatever I have.
Whatever I usually use. You notice at my house right now, some of the beers are in racetrack kegs because that's what I had. So yeah,
they work fine.
There's they do. We use racetrack. Actually, one of the kegs I brought you 2 batches ago, or maybe last month, was racetrack, and I was worried that you would think I did that to get rid of the keg, and it's like, no, it's what we had. James is in the same boat. The 3 of us are using the kegs that we have. We're not super picky. The only one I haven't done for beer bringing up there to headquarters yet is I have a couple of converted pin lock to ball lock. And I haven't done that because that is one where like your keys may be set for the dimensions of ball lock. And actually, you know what? I'm lying. Didn't I bring one in a pin lock? I did just bring one in a pin lock. And because I remember putting it in your keezer on Monday night and going, oh crap, why'd I do that? And it was a very tight fit. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, we use what we have. Wrapping up Adam's question. Well, first, reminder, Todd, to send me the links that I asked you for earlier. I forget already what I asked for. And for that,
I know what you want.
The Brewlosophy link and the adhesive, because is there a reason we don't sell the adhesive? Like, as we sell all the other maintenance stuff. And
I mean, I just buy it off of like Home Depot or Amazon. Yeah. I think I buy it from Home Depot, Lowe's, or Amazon, depending on. I started buying it somewhere else, one of the big box stores instead of Amazon, because it was actually less there.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it was one of those things that we would carry or could carry. Like 20% off Jockey Bots kids at kconnection.com. YouTube people have already tuned out. Anyways, Adam, thank you so much for submitting the question. Fellas, it was a wonderful 400th episode with you. Sorry I didn't bring something more gimmicky. Y'all are busy working. I'm busy working. We got professional lives here. We're going to do something special in the future. This week, the timing of it, I don't want to say it was bad, but there's a lot going on. Todd was sick. We're busy.
Yeah, our 500th episode.
There we go. But we'll see y'all in almost a little over 2 years for episode 500. It'll be great. Or maybe 401 will be good. Or maybe 420 will be good. We'll see which episodes are going to be good. But anyways, I appreciate you guys, not just for all 400 episodes, but specifically for today. And I will catch y'all the next time.
Thank you.
And
Bye-bye.
That will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com, use the submit a question link at the top of the page. You could email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com, and I will use it on a future episode. And you get yourself a $15 gift card, and you're like, hey, Josh, that's pretty good, $15. But even better, you're going to call it in to 325-305-6107. I will use it because I'm desperate, and you'll get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntons Malt Premium Grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntons, give them a try by joining our Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. What are you doing? Go over to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, thank you for 400 episodes, and thank you for listening.